I debated making this video for a little bit because I don't really post videos like this on here anymore. But this is too much for me to just ignore. My favorite player in the NHL, my favorite player maybe of all time, has requested a trade away from my favorite team. Oh my gosh, dude, I actually can't believe it. It's so dire right now, dude. Like how? Oh my gosh, bro. I'm actually so upset about this. Um, Basically, from what I understand, is Dylan Larkin requested a trade away from the Detroit Red Wings after years of a quote unquote frosty relationship with manager Steve Yzerman. I've been a very public defender of both of these two. Both of these two I've defended. I'm going to continue to defend Larkin mostly, but both of them to an extent here. I'm trying to pull up the article right now. I probably should have done this before I started recording. But let's just first focus on Larkin because people are saying stuff like he's a quitter, he's this, he's that, he's this. He's a quitter, he's no good, he's bad captain, bad this, bad that. How is he the hometown player and quitting on his team as the captain? What I think of that is how bad did it have to get for that to happen? I don't say, oh, he's a quitter. Well, he's given us 11 years of his career where we sucked the whole time. It's basically just saying, according to multiple sources, Larkin requested a trade. Somewhat frosty relationship between captain and the team's top hockey executive, being Yzerman, obviously. And people also want to compare it to like Quinn Hughes requesting a trade, Matthew Tkachuk requesting a trade, all these other guys wanting out. Brady Tkachuk possibly requesting a trade coming up. Johnny Gaudreau leaving the Flames, saying it's an American guy is leaving Canadian markets. And now this is not an American guy leaving Canadian markets. It's an American guy leaving his hometown team that he's the captain of. How bad is that to get for that to happen? That's my first question, because a lot of people are like, "Ooh, he's a quitter. He's this, that." I don't subscribe to that. Frankly, I don't subscribe to the idea that Larkin is quitting on the team. As much as I think it's this is enough of this toxic relationship that I've been forcing myself through with Yzerman. That's my takeaway from this, the way it seems like it's going down. Apparently, they have had a toxic relationship since 2023, when Dylan Larkin signed his contract, which was an 8-year contract at $8.7 million a year. And apparently also, let me pull this up too. They did not have a good relation. Yzerman is not a fan of Larkin's, frankly, it seems like. Here, one sec. What page did I even see this on earlier? Because I wasn't letting me send it, so I took a screenshot. It was on Puck Empire. Puck Empire on Instagram. There are rumblings that Steve Yzerman has never been overly impressed with Dylan Larkin's hockey acumen. Pretty much saying Yzerman's not a fan of Larkin's. And then he signed into an 8-year contract anyways with a full no-trade clause. And it was a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a dispute, but it was a little bit of, trouble getting to this agreement here. If you guys remember, it wasn't exactly signed early. And there was a lot of discussion about how much he's going to make, how much is this, that. Because and at the time it was kind of just like, oh, Yzerman's kind of known for wanting to sign guys for cheap. He's probably trying to get it cheap, and Larkin's probably obviously trying not to get it super cheap because he's the best player on the team and the captain and this, that, and this. He's probably like, I deserve more money. I want to get my money, which, is fine. Happens. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like a Mitch Marner situation exactly. I know a lot of people are mad at him for taking so much money, where he asked for, what was it, like almost $12 million from Toronto, and he got it. Or no, it was $11 million that he got from Toronto. It's not that bad. 8.7. I think it's pretty reasonable, and especially now with the way the cap has gone up, it is one of the more team-friendly deals in the league, I'd say. But they didn't get along back then in that situation. And apparently, it's been boiling over since then. And obviously, last year at the end of the season, there was the end of the season press conference where Larkin was like, "Hey, we didn't add, and I'm not happy about that." And Yzerman was like, "You could have been better," basically. And now it's boiled over to this. And people are also saying USA being on the Olympic team and winning gold medal was the reason he is leaving. And I don't know how much I subscribe to that idea either. because like obviously I'm sure winning was like, oh, I won and now I'm back here where we suck and we haven't been in the playoffs in 10 years and that sucks. I'm sure even if they lost the gold medal game, he would have been back and be like, we almost won gold and I come back here and we suck, or even anything. It's just the idea of being like, oh, we were the second best team going into this. At the very least, we were a top 2 team, and we were going into this as a top 2 team in the tournament. He's never had that experience with the Red Wings where he's going into it as like a top team in the league. So like, but I don't know if that much difference was made either way there. Frankly, I think if anything happened from the USA was that he taught the guys like Brady Tkachuk, like Quinn Hughes, which I guess are not exactly great examples. Who else was captains of their team? Matthews, which also not a great example. Guys who were captains or alternate captains of their teams, like Matthew Tkachuk, like McAvoy, like Jack Eichel, who are like probably have a lot of influence on their teams, probably have a really good relationship with their management, especially the guys like Matthew Tkachuk and Jack Eichel, who have had so much success with their teams. And he was probably like, I don't have that relationship here. Me and Yzerman don't have that relationship. That's probably, I think if anything came out from that, it was that, where he's like, we don't have that mutual respect like some of these other guys do. Maybe. I'm just theorizing here, of course. But I'm not mad at Larkin, frankly. I'm really upset. I'm really upset about it. I'm not like mad at him. I can't blame him for being like, get me out of this shitty situation. My GM, I don't get along with my management. The team is being built for when I'm gone, basically. I mean, not gone, but building around Raymond and Seider, obviously. And their age range, and Larkin's, 5 years older than Seider? That's a pretty big gap. Larkin turns 30 in July. Before the start of next season, he's going to be 30. That's a pretty big, pretty old age to be not good still. And I also see people on here being like, oh, Yzerman didn't quit. He didn't win a cup either for 14 years, and he didn't quit. He made the playoffs 11 times before winning his first cup. Larkin's made it once. I saw a tweet yesterday. I doubt I'm gonna be able to find it. It was like Lidstrom would never, Zetterberg would never. Here, wait, let me see if I can find it. Lidstrom would never, Zetterberg would never, Yzerman would never. But it was like when they were 30. I don't remember what the numbers were, but I remember Yzerman was like 75 playoff games played by the time he turned 30, and Larkin has 5. And it's like, really? We're going to be like, I mean, obviously, you wouldn't leave a team that is one of the better teams in the league and has a lot of, it makes the playoffs every year. It's a lot different. That's like if Aho left the Hurricanes last season or something. That's the type of situation that would be for Yzerman to leave. This is not the same. I'm just rambling here at this point. But if the problem here is that Larkin and Yzerman don't have a mutual respect for each other, don't have a good relationship with each other, then Yzerman has to go. Yzerman has to go. I've been defending Yzerman for a while. I believe in his Yzer plan mostly, I think. I mean, I see the vision at least of like, we're going to draft all these guys and they're all going to come in. And by the time by the time Raymond and Seider are in their primes, and Seider's already a top 10 defenseman in the NHL. He was 5th in Norris voting this year. Raymond, I mean, he had a little bit of a down year for him, which is crazy because he still had like a point per game. By the time they're both in their prime, we're going to have a young, jumpy team around them that's ready to win. Raymond had 76 points this year in 80 games, by the way. And it was a down year, disappointing year. And I'm pretty sure he was injured, but that's not the point. It's been pretty clear the whole time. It's like Seider and Raymond are going to be the top guys in this team, and we're going to draft a bunch of guys to be around them and be good around them to win a cup. That's the idea. And Larkin was always kind of like a little bit old for that. But it was always like, hopefully by the time Larkin's 30 or 32, we're contending for a cup. And he's turning 30 this summer. We haven't made a playoffs yet. And it's like, yeah, they had a better record this year. They won more regulation wins than Vegas, who's in the finals. But it's like, they didn't make the playoffs. But the team, if Larkin is leaving, Dylan Larkin, the guy who grew up in Michigan, played for Michigan, and captains the Red Wings, his hometown team, is requesting a trade when he has a full no move clause in full no trade clause and 5 years left on this deal. Then trading Larkin was not going to solve the toxicity problems in the organization. We've been talking about for a while, and I say we as if it was me. It was like, I mean, I was saying it, but I wasn't saying like publicly as much. We've been saying as Wings fans, Wings watchers, whatever you may be, for a while that there's obviously like some sort of locker room cancer going around, some sort of mindset in the locker room that's going around that is making the Red Wings bad in March specifically. It was mostly like in March, they fall off every year. It's like there's something in the locker room. And I blamed the bottom six a lot personally because you see guys like Compher and Rasmussen who are kind of just out there like coasting around in big games. And Compher, oh my gosh, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. Compher pissed me off especially this year. Because I remember specifically one time, Compher coasted around all game. And then I remember specifically one play. Edvinsson makes a great play, a great pass, and Compher taps in the back door, and he turned around Subway because he just won the cup. And it's like, dude, you've shown no passion all season. Now you get to score a tapping goal that anyone could have scored and turn around Subway like you just want us to. I digress. But you see teams like Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres, obviously a few years ago, had their situation with Jack Eichel. And it's a little bit different because Jack Eichel had injury that the Sabres management didn't want him to get the surgery for. They weren't allowing him to get the surgery for. He's like, I want to get the surgery. It's risky, but if it works, I could be back to 100%. And the route Buffalo Sabres management wanted to take is like, hey, you'll get back to like 70, 80%. But you'll guaranteed to get there. Well, this is like, there's a risk you're not going to ever play again. And Eichel was like, I want to do this. And if you guys won't let me trade me somewhere, that will let me. Right? So they trade him. There were reports. I'm not going to be able to pull this up. I'm not going to be able to find it right now, frankly. And I don't know how true the reports were. I know that I heard talking about it. I don't remember how reliable the sources were. I don't remember how true the reports were. There were reports last offseason. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking, by the way. There was reports last offseason that Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin went to the management in Buffalo and said, hey, if we don't take strides this year, we're out. I don't know how true that is, frankly. I don't know how true that is. But about 2-3 months into the season this year, Buffalo was the worst team in the Atlantic Division. Who would have thought? They were the worst team in the Atlantic Division, and they fired their GM. They didn't change the coach. They didn't change any of the players. They fired the GM. All of a sudden, they won, 9 games in a row? And then they made the playoffs as the best team in the Atlantic Conference, or Atlantic Division. I remember thinking at the time, there's no way firing the GM is what changed this. There's no way firing the GM could change it. He's not on the ice. He's not on the bench. He's up in the press box watching and picking the players. He doesn't have much bearing on how they play. Obviously, I was wrong. Buffalo became good when they changed GMs, when they just put on the idea to change GMs. And now the Red Wings are going to lose their hometown hero captain because of feuds with the GM. And my main problem with this all is that trading Larkin isn't going to really solve anything, I don't think. There's a chance that it does, that we get a good return, and it's like, oh my gosh, we just got a good return, and now Yzerman's like in control of his team. Because there's been people talking for a while about how Yzerman's really like his guys. He's like, he wants his guys, and Larkin's not really one of his guys. I remember that being a thing back in around the contract disputes. And if you look at the team now, only 2 guys on this roster are here before Yzerman took over, and it's Larkin and Rasmussen, who's not. Don't even get started. But everyone else here was brought in by Yzerman, whether it be through trades, free agency, draft, whatever it may be. All of them were brought in from Yzerman except for the best player, the captain of the team, the leader of the team. He wasn't one of his guys. And obviously, I talked about already once, Yzerman is clearly building around Raymond and Seider's primes, and Larkin's kind of just there with them. But even though I see the vision with Eisman's plan of draft and build and young and spry and whatever, moving Larkin's not going to solve this issue. I don't think Raymond and Sider and DeBrincat or Finney and Casper are looking at Larkin saying, this guy is not fit to lead because of his relationship with management. I don't know how much veterans respected Larkin, frankly, like Kopp and Comfer and Sherratt and Falk. I don't know how much they respected Larkin, frankly, as the captain. I know the guys on USA were talking about how great of a leader he was in the Olympics and the Four Nations. So I do think he has leadership quality. If you go, I'm going to pull this up because I've seen people saying he's never been a good leader and he was defaulted the captain. So I'm going to pull this up from his draft. One sec. I don't know how much they respected him as a leader in the locker room, but like, I don't think anyone on the team is going to be like, we're going to move Larkin. When we get rid of Larkin, you know, the dynasty starts after you type of player. Obviously, we're not that close right now where it's like, yeah, it's like we're one move away from the dynasty. This is not the right video. We're one move away from the dynasty or something, but I don't think anyone in the locker room's like, this is like a player that's like, once we get rid of him, we're going to become good or something. Here we go. Let me show you guys this. Just listen closely here.
Of Darren Hell, but better scoring ability. He's got that type of disruptive speed. He comes at you defensively. He comes at you offensively. He played with a bicep that he could hold onto a stick in between plays at the U18 tournament where USA won gold, and he just kept playing through it. He's got guts, and he's got lots of skill and lots of speed. He'll fit in perfectly with the Red Wings.
Someday he's going to be a captain in the National Hockey League. I really believe that.
At the draft, they were saying he's going to be a captain in the National Hockey League. So he came to the league, people expecting him to be a good leader. So it's not like he was defaulted captain. Obviously, look at the 2021 roster and go, who else would have been captain? Obviously, it was going to be Larkin. They drafted him to be the captain one day. He was picked to be a captain one day. Oh my gosh, I don't know, dude. Depending on the return, which I can't imagine is going to be great. He's probably going to want to go to Minnesota because they need centers. They don't really have centers to give us back, which is what we need. We need young centers back for trading Larkin. If you're trading Larkin, unless you somehow nail the return, which is probably like a generous, we'll give 33% chance, like one out of 3 times this goes down, we get a generous return. Because, I mean, one thing I'll give Eisman credit for is he is very persistent on the way he makes his damn trades, where he's like, I'm gonna get exactly what I want. And obviously, his no trade clause is a little bit different, but still. Unless you nail the return, there's no way this works out well. And unless he nails return, we can't have a situation where on game 1 next season, Larkin's not on the team and Eisman's still in the press box. It just can't happen. Because even if Larkin is the aggressor in this relationship where he is the bigger problem, they're both obviously at odds with each other. And if Eisman's still like, overseeing it all. So I think if he's still steering the ship and he sends out the captain because they disagreed on things, which obviously Larkin requested a trade, it's not like he's just sending him out on his own whim. If the captain leaves the team because of disagreements with the management, then I doubt anyone else on the team is going to be like, time to step up to the plate, really. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't think it's going to change any of the environment getting rid of Larkin as much as it would change getting rid of Eisman. At least not in a positive direction. But yeah, this is just a 20-minute ramble of my thoughts on the situation. He's still my favorite player. I mean, I have his USA jersey. I'll probably when he gets traded, most likely going to happen. Hopefully, best case scenario is we end up firing Eisman. Larkin sends his trade request, and everything it works out better. Then we hire a really good GM that comes in and saves us, and we win the cup next year. No matter what team Larkin gets traded to, I'm going to buy his jersey probably still. He's still my favorite player. I don't think he's a quitter for wanting to leave a team that does not respect him. I am looking forward to seeing his Instagram post when he gets traded, though. Even though I'm not looking forward to him getting traded. His farewell post. I don't know.